Yo, what's up, Internet? My name's Nerdy, and this is Demon Slayer, episodes 3x2 and 3, season 3, episodes 2 and 3. We're in the Swordsmith village. I think the #1 bad guy is here, but I do know that a couple of hashiras are. So let's dive right into it. Tanjiro does not have a sword, so if things go down, that would suck. That would be not good. Oh, yeah, that guy has more than 2 arms. Oh. Yeah, it's that hashira strength. I don't know, man. This guy killed an upper demon. You done that? Ooh, new theme song. Okay. Actually, no, I think this played in the last episode. Yeah, it did. Isn't this the Mist Hashira? Didn't they meet already? Try not to watch it. I feel like there's a lot in this that's going to be spoilery. So I'm just kind of not watching the theme song. Oh, what's up? Nezuko. As I immediately look up. Hot to go? Hyotoko? H-O-T-T-O-G-O. Strong kid.
柱の時間と君たちの時間は全く価値が違う。少し考えればわかるよね。人の命を救えない。武器を作るしか脳がないから。
Oh yeah, try and fight the demons without your sword. See how that fucking goes.
自分の立場をわきまえて行動しなよ。
Wow, I hate this one. High five.
You
don't know why? You can't figure it out? Really? He's a piece of shit. No, it's not. Thank God someone understands teamwork.
悪いけど、くだらない話に付き合ってる暇ないんだよね。
Oh my God, what a fucking loser. I do kind of wish... No, actually, that's not fair. The original Hashira, the water Hashira, wasn't introduced as, like, the fucking worst. But it is, like, a noticeable trend that this show is just, like, we're gonna introduce Hashiras by their worst traits. And then we'll soften them later, but we're gonna be as dramatic as fucking possible every time they enter the scene. So all this was about a training dummy? Wow. Why are we sending mechanical dolls out to fight fucking demons?
あの人形の原型となったのは実在した剣士だったらしいんですけど、腕を6本にしなければその剣士の動きを再現できなかったからだそうです。
Because the #1 is gonna have 6 arms.
知ってる気がするけど、わからない。
Is #1 gonna be Tanjiro's ancestor, and because Muzan Kibutsuji is the master's ancestor?
そんな300年以上昔なんだ。
Yeah.
そりゃ当然よ。あの子は火の呼吸の使い手の子孫だからね。あの子は天才なのよ。あんたたち。
Is this the love Hashira's crow?
あなたが見た夢はきっとご先祖様の記憶なんですよ。
非現実的、非現実的。
Who is this crow? He asked if it was Tokito's crow, but the crow didn't answer. If the thing's already broken, Hashira, was that worth torturing a kid over? Was it? These fucking good guys. Ugh.
投げやりになってはいけない。
It's so weird.
音もなく来てた。これが剣士。
He came without making a sound. That's what those swordsmen do. Woo!
一緒に頑張ろう。
God, Tandra's ability to connect to people is going to be the reason why this Demon Slayer Corps wins. Because everyone else in the Demon Slayers fucking sucks at motivating people. The Master's alright at it.
この刀もらっていくね。こてつくん。それ処分しといて。
What a fucking loser.
あのカラスは全力で悪意あるな。すごい下に見てる俺を。
Sometimes I'm like, let the demons win, you know what I mean? Like, just fucking, they can have it. Yeah, but the problem is, you don't have a sword.
これで修行して、あの澄ました顔のクソガキよりも絶対に強くなってくださいね。しますので。
That was sick as fuck. Shit.
その程度か。ゴミカスが。髪長すぎなんだよ。きれ、昆布頭。
Seaweed head. Is that a reference to Percy Jackson? It's probably not. Yeah, how do you turn this thing off when you're like, I'm done? Oh, jeez.
この程度で死んでるようじゃカスですよ。頑張ってください。
Huh.
しっかりして。今日で5日目ですよ。明日からは人形に刀も出せますからね。
無知ゆえの純粋なる暴挙。
Okay. This is fine. This show spends so much time on training without a lot of context for the training. Oh, what?
空腹でめまいを起こし川に落下。
What the fuck?
不思議なことにこの光る石は
It's a beautiful shot.
右もも右肩は来る。
So he almost died, so now he can smell where the sword hits are coming from.
前よりもずっとよくわかる。体力も戻ってついていけてる。
Yeah, like narratively, you actually suck at this and you've been really bad at it. So now we just need you to be better, and so we're just gonna do stuff to make you're just gonna fight this thing to be better. Isn't the most interesting training could be at this point in the series. It could be more specific about like what his goals are, or
でも壊れたら。
Oh, interesting. That is fun though. There was a sword inside it all along. It is the blade. I see what we're doing. Okay.
300年以上前の刀ですよね。
Fun! Okay. The end of the episode was great. Is the credits just the Love Hashira getting ready to go out? She's petting a cat. Oh my god, is this just like the Love Hashira's cute day doing normal shit? Okay, no, it is other people as well. Wow, okay. I hate... Is there a post-credit scene? No, it doesn't look okay. I fucking hate that Miss Hashira. Oh my god, what a self-important look. Like, I was like, Tengen was kind of weird, and like, he wasn't my favorite person ever. But like, this guy, ugh, everything I do is more important than anything you do. Ugh. Like, just fucking go be alone. If you can't have any respect for a child who's going to dedicate his entire life to making sure that your core has weapons, if that's not a person that you can respect, who can you, man? That's a 10-year-old who's already pot committed to your benefit, your long-term benefit. That's just like, yeah, no, and I get it. You want to train with the dummy. You got nothing out of that. It had no value to you. And so, what, like, oh, God, I hope he dies first. I hope he's the one Mizun Kuzepa to just take him out as an example to the rest of the hashiras. Get him out of here! Treat children kindly, you loser fuck. Anyway, the rest of the episode was fine. Yeah, this show, I think one of the things that Demon Slayer struggles with as a battle shonen, or whatever term people use for it, is in like doing a good job of making the growth of mostly Tanjiro's power level clear. Everybody is powerful in the same way visually, and they're all more powerful than Tanjiro until they're not the same way. And so while I understand like Tanjiro progressing through his forms and getting new forms and kind of being the like blend of sun and water allows him to have more abilities and stuff, the way in which the show wants to explain his training past the point where he's like already doing total concentration breathing. We kind of did this training thing once, and Ahasha was like really fucking impressed by him. And so for the next arc to go, but actually, you're actually terrible at this, and so we have to start with the basics again. It just sort of feels like the show's just going in circles. Instead of introducing a narrative forward point now, it's just like, oh, we're going to do that again. And I'm glad it didn't go on very long and it's done. And I hope the training of this arc is done. Because it just doesn't mean, like, Tanjiro's training doesn't mean anything anymore. He fought an upper demon, and he like went toe-to-toe with an upper demon for a while without Tengen, and then killed it with Tengen. And so for the Mist Hashira to be this dick about it and be so far ahead of him, but not having gone off and killed an upper demon is like, well then what the fuck are you doing? If everything you're doing as a Hashira is so fucking important because you're so powerful that you could be dealing with these problems, why is Tanjiro the one doing it? What are you doing? While you're like threatening a child, what are you doing, dude? Do you have any accomplishments of note? Because Tanjiro actually does. And so to throw him in and his attitude in as a means of like showing that Tanjiro has a ways to go, we just learned that. Get into like what Tanjiro can do to be better, instead of being like, well, actually, you just need to be better. Just be better, bro. Just like be better. And then he's like, okay, well, for 6 days I trained and then I was. And it's like, oh, okay, yeah, it's fine. It's just that the rehab training arc was really good. I actually thought that was handled well. There was value put into like the why of it. And this just felt, I mean, it was one episode, so it doesn't really matter, but it just sort of felt like an episode to get to him breaking the doll. And the journey there didn't really work for me as much as the visuals, and the endpoint's great. Like, I'm really excited to find out about the sword. I want to know more about Swordsman Village and, you know, that kind of stuff. Why did the society have the technology to build those dolls and lose it? Did they lose it because of Mizunku Butsuji? There's world building stuff in this episode that I think is really cool and really well handled and great. But some of the other stuff, yeah, there was some stuff in this episode I was like, why are we doing this? What is the narrative value of saying that Tanjiro sucks again? And I don't know that I can figure out what that is. Anyway, let's watch the next episode. I'm really curious to see what it is. He was always meant to be broken. That was the lesson all along.
これ炭治郎さんもらっていいんじゃないでしょうか。
いやいやいやいやいや、ダメでしょ。
Wow, you are so red, dude.
炭治郎さんが切ったから見つかったんだか
What in the Cirque du Soleil is happening?
ら試しにちょっと抜いてみます。
そうだね、見たいよね。
Okay. Watch, she's gonna pull out and it's gonna crumble. Yeah, that's rest. What the fuck is going on in this arc? This is so weird. What was the point of any of this? I know we're gonna find out. I'm aware we're gonna find out. It's just it's a very weird narrative loop they've put themselves in here.
話してください。ちょっと、なんで持っていこうとするんです。いいから俺に任せ。
Oh my god, guys, just use your words.
ないですよ。任せるんだよ。いや、これ
Children, can we start behaving like adults who have a serious mission that the fate of the world is at risk, please?
ここを狙うのです。
So fucking weird.
彼はね、山ごもりで修行していたんですよ。
修行？
そう。
He's been getting yoked.
錆びた刀は俺が預かる。鋼塚家に伝わる日輪刀剣魔術で見事磨き上げて死ぬ。
You're gonna restore the rusted blade? Okay. Sometimes people are like, maybe anime isn't for you. And I'm like, but sometimes it's such good storytelling. And I love it. And then other times, the mountain man needs to be tickled so he doesn't hurt the child. Because comedy. And I'm like, maybe those people are right.
その研ぎ方、すごい過酷みたいで死んじゃった人もいるとか言ってて心配だよ。
Died of what?
とは言わせねえ。
あれは女の子を殴った玄也が全面的に悪いし。
Fair.
お前の見間違いだろ。
見間違いじゃないよ。歯取ってあるから。
Why do you still have it?
いやだって落とし物だし返そうと。
So you kept it for a week? What is happening in the show right now? I feel like I'm losing my fucking mind.
禰豆子もいいと思うか。お風呂は一緒に入ったから次はご飯だと思うんだ。
Are you fucking dating him? Like, what do you mean the next step?
もっと仲良くしたいな。
Why? He sucks.
禰豆子、今日は月が綺麗だな。
I am happy they're getting some like cute Tandro Nezuko hang time though, right? I've been wanting more of this. That was great. I love the detail of Tandro is good at taking care of Nezuko's hair and that he puts time and energy into that. I think that's awesome.
ツボ？さっき上がっていくときはこんなのなかったけどな。いて。
Oh my god. Well, that was violent.
しかしここを潰せば鬼狩りどもを確実に弱体化させられる。
Alright, here we go.
はよはよ。皆殺しにせねば。
Okay, we're getting into it. I'm glad we're getting into it because there's a little woofy there. Yeah.
兄貴、俺はやらないといけないんだ。
Brother? Is he a twin?
多分鋼塚さんと一緒にいるんじゃないかな。
金森は僕の新しい刀鍛冶。
Poor guy.
一緒に鋼塚さんとこ行こう。
God, Nezuko's being adorable.
何かすごく変な生き物だな。
え、変ですか？
うん、すごく変だよ。
Yeah, she's wildly odd. She's a demon who doesn't eat humans, sleeps to recover.
うーん。
It's a miracle this guy remembers that he's a hashira, honestly. Oh shit. Okay.
霞の呼吸。
Damn, that was cool.
遺留切り早い仕留められなかった
The animation of that was unreal.
当たったか。なんで反撃してこない。
What? Yeah. Is he like Zenitsu where he's gonna like have a form that he attacks in? Okay. Damn.
一方には頭が生え、もう一方には体ができた。後ろは俺が。
Now they're gonna be serious. The cowardly body is a ploy to get in the room, isn't it? Oh ho ho ho! Shit! Oh, this just got so real. Yeah.
楽しいの。
It's like a form that hides him because his demonness is like quiet.
カラク、お前と混ざっていたことも。
そうかい。
Cool. Oh, Jesus.
あの削除。
Looking at the staff, if you don't watch One Piece, you won't get this. But all I can hear in my head is, Koi Koi!
誰か。ケンヤ。なんだ、あの武器は。
We've got guns now?
強くなるんだ。首を切らせるのはわざとだ。この鬼は首を切られることに頓着してない。
Oh, fuck.
喜ばしいの。別れるのは久方ぶり。
Oh, shit. Oh, God.
レスコ助けろ。
Really hope he moved his organs around.
やるの。これはなかなか喜ばしい。
Woo, boy, this is spicy. Okay, so... Oh! 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 Well, at least he slowed himself down. That's good. So his tongue had joy on it. So each of these things is gonna be different emotions, right? Like the original form was cowardice or something like that. Cutting the foot off made it duplicate?
里全体が襲われているならまず里をさ技術や能力の高いものを優先して守らなければ
See, in this context, the way that he's thinking, it's not great, but it's more understandable here.
里を守ること
He still is not a great person.
未熟な刀鍛冶の卵ひ
But he's about to go do the wrong thing, which is technically the right thing. More morally the right thing.
巡り巡って自分のために。
Tadra just had to tell him not to be a prick one time, and it changed him completely.
逃げろ
The animation of the Miss Hashira is so fucking sick. Alright. Okie doke. We got into it real fast. I'm glad we did. Honestly, I think that the Entertainment District did a really good job in the setup of the arc. With the Oirons and like what the culture of the area was. And I think that it weirdly didn't deliver in the fight because I wanted the fight to be more about the area and more... I wanted the fight to be more political and more of what the like setup for it was. On the flip side, I'm very excited that we're in the fight here because I don't think the setup for the fight here in Swordsmith Village was very good. For a number of reasons, right? I don't think that having your hashiras disrespect the sword makers makes much sense. If you've met Japanese people, like the way people respect, or not all Japanese people, that's a generalization, that's not fair, but in my time working in Japan, the way in which people showed respect for the work that other people did is just a very important cultural thing there that doesn't exist here. And I understand that the show is trying to go radically against that idea for comedy. I just don't think the joke is very funny, and so it just doesn't work for me, right? So I don't love the setup that they did in these 2 episodes for this arc, but I do like the idea of the villains that they're gonna fight. So I'm happy we got to that, because I think that's gonna be more interesting than kind of Genya is an asshole and the Mist Hashira is an asshole, and they don't want to deal with Tanjiro, and that's just kind of, it's just not more interesting than that. Not the show doesn't do any effort. The show doesn't really put a lot of effort in explaining what people's goals are outside of Tanjiro and Nezuko. A little bit with Inosuke, but like even Zenitsu, like what Zenitsu actually wants is sort of nebulous. He's mostly there to be comedic relief, and the joke doesn't work for me, and so I don't really care about what he wants to I mean, obviously he wants a wife and that stuff, but he's not working towards those goals in any way. And in the same way here, like this Mist Hashira's aggressiveness towards the robot comes from a place of trying to set up Tanjiro narratively. It doesn't seem aligned with what he wants, because I don't know what he wants, and he doesn't get a lot out of it. And so it just sort of like, it is, you know what it is? It feels like I can see the outline of the story too much. Because there's not a lot of why. It is just like, and then the Mist Hashira wants to fight the robot. And so Tanjiro is going to fight the robot because the Mist Hashira was an asshole so that he could fight the robot. Because the number 1 guy is going to have 6 arms, so we need to establish that now. And so, like, for the sake of convenience, we need to establish that. What does that have to do with the Mist Hashira? It's just so that he's here. Those kind of things. Like, I can see the like physical beats of what is needed for the story, and not why the characters are doing those things as much, if that makes sense. The fight looks cool, though. I'm really excited for the villains here. I think the Jar guy is fascinating, and I do find it interesting that this show is now going to go into an arc that has 2 demons whose main weapons aren't swords. Or like claws, and like, how do you fight them with swords? Even the Oiran in the last arc, right? She had her belt, but her belt essentially became a weapon to fight with, like a physical weapon that you fought. The blood magic of the sick guy, the poison or whatever his like blades of spinning were, they were physical and they could be blocked with swords. How do you fight thunder damage with a sword is a really interesting idea, and I'm excited for the show to explore that. I like the design a lot. I enjoy the idea. I actually think it's a really cool idea, that the emotion demon that splits into different emotions every time he's cut. And what are all those emotions, and how do they fight differently? Trying to figure out which emotions have thunder damage versus whatever other kinds of damage he was doing there. That's gonna be something for this show to explore over the next 8 episodes. Like, do they just fight for 8 full episodes? Yeah. The show has its strengths, man. Demon Slayer is definitely it's all over the map. It has some really, really, really wonderful strengths as a show. Some great characters. It also, in my opinion, it also has some flaws. It has some weaknesses. One is tonally. I think the tone flips are too drastic sometimes. And the other is just that the actual narrative of the show is a little bit stalled out. I think that the fight to get to Muzan Kibutsuji is both too daunting and also seems very straightforward. And so because the show kind of gives both, and because the characters aren't really like moving forward in a logical way, they're just sort of generically getting better. and I know Tanjiro has a new like smelling magic. I think that one of the weaknesses of the narrative is that because the characters are so strong, and because the like emotional arc of Tanjiro wanting people to be better keeps working, and the people around him keep becoming better because of his goodness, because that works, but it isn't really tied into how they beat the demons ever. That the way that they're beating the demons is because they are just physically better arc by arc, because they do more push-ups. Is the way in which the show is interesting in the characters getting better, which is the emotional arc, which is so strong, being divorced from the physical getting better. And so they kind of become lumped into separate parts of the show, which are then wrapped up in these very yelly comedic bits that are very hit and miss. The actual progression of the physical side feels like it should be more tied into these emotional arcs, because emotional arcs are very interesting, right? Nezuko losing control as a demon is a really interesting idea that the show kind of brought up, and maybe will again, but it wasn't tied up into how they won. I don't know. It's an interesting show in that like the ideas that it has, that it brings up, are really, really cool. The ends of narratives don't necessarily become about those ideas though. And so you're almost like wishing there was an editor to be like, hey, like you kind of dropped this. It was really cool. Is there a way that this could tie in again in this arc? Is there a way that this could be the like, you know, you've kind of done the like Tanjiro gets beat up, is really hurt, trains for a bit, and then starts another fight. We've just kind of done this, right? And this time it was just shorter because there isn't much runway for it. Tanjiro ends up in the hospital for a bit, recovers, trains, and then gets into another fight. Has just been kind of the whole show. And I was hoping going into season 3, like, we're progressing, and it does. These first few episodes feel like a step back in that it feels like we're just kind of starting the same arc up again that we just did. But I still love it, and I think love is maybe a strong word. I really like the show. I think the animation is unreal. I think it is one of the most beautifully animated things. I think the sound design is truly incredible. I think that there is so much to love here. And so if I'm being a little bit negative, that upsets you, I understand. People love what they love. But for me, I think that there is a world building to this show that is more interesting than what the exposition and narrative do with that world. And I think that that's a little bit frustrating. It's a frustration I had with Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood, where I thought like the setup of Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood was brilliant, and then the narrative was just a little too simple in the way that we get into fights and what the like outcomes of those things are. This show's kind of doing a similar thing, and I almost wonder if it is the weekly nature of manga writing, of having to just kind of like pump out these stories, and you're not writing the story and then editing and then editing and then editing and then putting out the product at the end. You're kind of like, okay, this week's issue is out. I have an outline, but how do I get to the next thing? And then when the animes come out, instead of adapting them into anime, we are just making, so many animes are just, let's show exactly what happened in the manga. And anything that wasn't in the manga is considered filler and we don't even watch it, right? And I wonder if there's something about manga writing where sometimes we latch onto the worlds and the introduction of these characters, because those things are so strong, because those are the things that the writer maybe has written 7 or 8 issues before it gets picked up, or, I'm not 100% sure how all of these things work. And then as the show goes on, you just kind of get into a like monster of the week kind of writing, because the issue has to come out, and so the ideas don't maybe necessarily get dragged through the arc the way that a novelist who writes the whole book and then has it edited and then writes the whole book a second time and then has it edited and then comes up with a final draft that they and their beta readers and people are happy with before it goes out to the public, where the arcs can be a little bit more focused in on because of the process. And maybe it is just like the manga process, because it doesn't feel like a TV show thing. And when I first started commenting on the anime stuff, I thought it was a TV show thing. I thought it was like, oh, like in the adaptation of the manga to anime, they're not making TV. They're not like making the TV show its own thing. And I don't actually think that's what it is. I think these narratives just are not as emotionally through-lined as I want them to be, given how cool I do think the world building is. The Swordsmith village is such a cool place to set story, and we're now going to fight there, and it being set in the Swordsmith village doesn't feel that important to that fight. And I hope I'm wrong. I hope in the next few episodes, them being in the Swordsmith village is more than the entertainment district ended up being to the entertainment district art, if that makes sense. I don't know. Very curious. Very, very, very curious what the show ends up being. If you like the video, subscribe to the channel. If you don't, hit the dislike button. Leave me comments down below because the algorithm god is hungry and we must feed her. This episode, that algorithm goddess is Nezuko because she got a new haircut and that's rad. If you want to follow me around the internet, you can. I'm at nerdynightly. As always, do something nerdy tonight.